clear of two gentlemen who wanted to talk about two different politics with two very different themes. Boris Johnson, get Brexit done. Jeremy Corbyn trying to say that we should try to end austerity and to reduce inequality. I think where Boris Johnson tended to score, however, is not only was his narrative clearer, but he was also better at supporting his arguments with examples. Jeremy Corbyn seemed to be much more comfortable in complaining about what he thought had gone wrong under the current government, less specific than Mr Johnson about how he would change things in future, and that may do him damage. At the end of the day, however, I think that Boris Johnson's camp will be quite satisfied with that. He did not make any serious mistakes. He didn't necessarily clearly outpoint Mr Corbyn, but the point is he certainly didn't fall on his face. Mr Corbyn didn't score any major hits, and to be honest, as we said at the beginning, a draw or even a score draw will keep Mr Johnson happy.
There were no gotcha moments, were there? Often in these American presidential debates, there's one moment that stands out that is then repeated on the media for days on end. I'm not sure what that moment would be.
No, I'm not sure. I mean, there were a couple of clever quips. There was one in the first half we talked about earlier about Jeremy Corbyn saying, years of chaotic coalition already. And then Mr Johnson, when we were talking about spending, referring to Mr Corbyn's proposals as a money forest rather than just more money trees. But the truth is, I think probably those who are thinking about how to cut this for the 10 o'clock news, 11 o'clock news and 7 o'clock tomorrow morning are going, well, I'm not quite sure that there's a great deal there for us to use that, frankly, we haven't heard already. I mean, particularly on Brexit, the arguments were well rehearsed, very familiar. The arguments on Labour side about privatisation, allegedly, and inequality, again, very rehearsed and very familiar. So to that extent, at least, viewers will get a very clear insight into the state of British domestic politics and debate if they're not familiar with it before. But frankly, if they're anoraks of the political debate, they probably didn't learn a great deal this evening.